Start in Los Angeles and get on the I-5 heading north. Drive 150 miles, past Hollywood, past Santa Clarita and Bakersfield. Eventually, you'll wind up here. The Colonel Allensworth State Park, where for $6 you can park your car and walk through the history of what almost was, what could have been. If you go a little further south past the park, you'll see what's left of that dream, the community that the park has preserved in time.
This is the park. This is our community center. This is the school. I think people think of it in the past. They come to the park and that's all they know. They have no idea that 500 people live here.
Allensworth, located in California's Central Valley, was the state's first self-governed Black community. The town was established in 1908 by Allen Allensworth, who was born into slavery and had later become the first Black lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army. The town thrived for a decade. It became a refuge from the racist policies of Jim Crow spreading throughout the country.
The community where African Americans could have their own lives free of hostility.
But after the colonel's death in 1914, the town declined. The railway diverted trains from Allensworth, hurting its economy, and the state broke its promises to provide water to the town, causing a water crisis. In 1974, the town was preserved as the Colonel Allensworth State Historic Park. But it is still a community, home to mainly migrant farm workers and a handful of Black families like Denise's, fighting to revitalize the town.
That was a nonprofit that she established to do things in the community.
The rebuilding the Allensworth Christian Church.
Yeah, is that Mom?
Yeah, sir.
Every meeting she went to, she would say to the people, "What about Allensworth?"
She was a busy lady.
Probably still is.
Despite Allensworth's struggles, its story attracted new generations of believers, some dedicating their lives to continuing its legacy.
My mom moved into the town, Nettie Morrison, in 1979. She was an advocate for this town in every way. Many times when people were sick here or lost a loved one, instead of dialing 911, they called my mom.
I think when you see something that needs to be done, let's not wait, let's do what must be done. Allensworth is the town that refused to die.
Dennis and Denise are twins.
Dennis, you keep your little comments to yourself.
But y'all the same age.
Okay then.
That's all I can say.
I'm 6 minutes older, that's why I say keep your comments to yourself.
They moved to Allensworth in 2010 to continue their mom's work.
Working with our boards right now to try to improve the water quality. People have to travel 20 miles anywhere to get food, gas, anything, and there's no work for the community.
When this big farmer started selling off his land, I bought 60 acres of it. I'm hoping to create an economic base through agriculture.
Presently, we are growing oats. One of the advantages of doing organic farming in a community like Allensworth that is impoverished and deprived is labor intensive. People desire to be productive. People desire to be a part of something.
And so what we want to do now is educate people so that they can support themselves.
You see these greens coming up. See, these look like mustard greens right here. These are the collard greens right here.
For some reason, God sent me and my family here, so I'm trying to do my part.
Come on, go outside. Come on. Here, you want a treat? Here. Here. Come on. So I just want to show this picture. This is a picture of Colonel Allensworth. And he has a town, the vision of the town in his head.
I came here in 2009. My father had just passed away. So I wanted to pick up the torch.
John's father, Cornelius Pope, grew up in Allensworth in the 1930s, long after its heyday. He led the push to establish the state park. Cornelius also wanted to restore the original cemetery, but he died before that could happen.
There are people that were pioneers that came here and started this town that were buried there, and they're still buried there. We had a fence around this whole thing twice. They've been stolen. Every time we put a fence out here, it gets stolen. As you can see, there's no police. There's really no law out here. It's just us. These crosses and stuff, you know, we just had to put some kind of markers up because everything had been destroyed.
Tulare County had controlled the cemetery for decades after its previous owners had died. In 2021, Allensworth finally gained ownership, but the town still needs funding to restore it.
How could a government allow something like this to happen? We're going to restore it. We're going to return this to a place of respect and grace.
In late 2021, the California State Parks Department announced they are partnering with an independent investment group to restore the state park and bring more tourism into the area. But Denise says she's fighting to make sure the community is included in those efforts too.
Would you really want someone to come into your community and just develop your park and not your town? Throughout history, it's been said that African Americans are lazy, and every time the opportunity has come for success, it's been taken away.
Throughout U.S. history, many self-sufficient, all-Black communities were destroyed. In some cases, it was through public policy, like when New York's Seneca Village was razed to build Central Park. In other cases, through violence, like when white mobs rampaged through Black communities in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, Florida.
It's racism. And today is a time that people are saying, I want to determine my own future. I was thinking about it just this morning. It's like, how did my mom do all this? But she just kept the engine going.
Even though this town has died from what it started out, the essence of it was, it's a beacon of hope, and it's still here.
This town refuses to die, and we will do our part to help it stay alive and thrive.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.